A war like no other, where in just 18 days the entire earth turned red with blood. A war where brothers raised swords against brothers, and a guru had to fall by the hands of his own disciple. This was no ordinary war. This was the great battle of Kurukshetra. On one side were the Pandavas, with only 7 Akshauhinis of army, and on the other side were the Kauravas, with a massive army of 11 Akshauhinis, millions of warriors, thousands of chariots, and the earth trembling at the roar of war elephants. But the biggest question was, what happened in these 18 days that the greatest warriors in the world fell one by one? How did Bhishma Pitama, the one who was undefeatable, fall? How did mighty warriors like Dronacharya and Karna, seemingly invincible, meet their end? And finally, what happened on the 18th day that changed the future of all Aryavarta forever? Today, we will uncover the complete true story of the 18 days of Kurukshetra, where every day was a new massacre, and every night a silence of death. So, let us go back, 5,000 years ago, to that battlefield, where it was decided whether dharma would prevail or adharma. Day 1, declaration of war and fierce beginning. As the sun rose over the battlefield of Kurukshetra on the first day, both armies were eager for war. Lord Krishna imparted the knowledge of the Gita to Arjuna, and the battle began. The first strike of the day came from the Pandava army. Arjuna and Bhishma unleashed their arrows, creating chaos in the Kaurava ranks. But on the other side, Bhishma Pitama displayed his terrifying power. Alone, he struck down thousands of Pandava soldiers in an instant. Dronacharya began showering his divine weapons on the battlefield. By the end of the first day, the earth had turned red with blood, yet no major warrior had fallen. Under Bhishma's leadership, the Kauravas had the upper hand. Day 2, display of strength. The second day of battle grew even more intense. Arjuna demonstrated the power of his Gandiva bow, countering the Brahmastras of the Kaurava army. Nakula and Sahadeva struck down enemy horses and elephants with deadly precision. On the other side, Karna showcased his mastery, delivering devastating blows to the Pandava forces. Yet no major warrior was killed this day either. By evening, both armies were exhausted, but morale remained high. Dronacharya adjusted his strategy, attempting to encircle the Pandava army, but Arjuna broke through their formation. Day 3, fierce combat. On the third day, the intensity of the war reached its peak. Bhishma arranged his vast army in a strategic formation. Arjuna tried his best to stop him, but Bhishma was unstoppable like a strong fortress. That day, Abhimanyu displayed remarkable youthful bravery, defeating several key Kaurava soldiers. Bhishma rained arrows on the Pandava army like a shower of nectar, killing thousands of soldiers. Yudhishthira attempted to confront Bhishma but had to be cautious. The battle was extremely fierce, yet no major warrior fell. Day 4, the terrifying power of Dronacharya. The fourth day dawned ominously. Dronacharya showcased the full extent of his valor. His arrows devastated the Pandava army. Bhima confronted Dronacharya, but the teacher did not hesitate to strike at his own disciples. Arjuna killed a large number of enemies, yet Dronacharya's protective armor made it nearly impossible to defeat him. By evening, the battlefield was littered with corpses. While the day was not decisive, it foreshadowed the terrifying intensity of the days to come. Day 5, the terrifying face of battle. On the 5th day, the war took a horrific turn. Dronacharya advanced his divine army, crushing the Pandava forces mercilessly. Arjuna rained arrows to stop him, but Dronacharya remained invincible. Bhima showcased the full power of his mace, breaking many Kaurava chariots. Both armies were exhausted at this stage, yet there was no sign of stopping. The battle lasted long and continued until darkness fell. Day 6, the day of massacre. The 6th day saw an extremely brutal battle. Both Bhishma and Dronacharya unleashed their full strength. The Pandava army was forced to retreat repeatedly. Yudhishthira steadied his brothers and altered their battle strategy. Arjuna used the Brahmastra, annihilating thousands of Kaurava soldiers at once. Karna displayed his skill as well, but he could not withstand Arjuna. By evening, the battlefield had become so dreadful that even the onlookers shivered with fear. Day 7, clash of distinguished warriors. On the 7th day, the battle's focus shifted. elite warriors clashed head-on. Nakula and Sahadeva joined forces to attack the Kaurava army. Dronacharya tried to encircle the Pandavas with his strategy, but Abhimanyu broke through their formation. The battle raged intensely, yet no major warrior fell. Bhishma Pitama held the Pandava army at bay with his precise arrows. By the end of the day, both sides were exhausted, but the fight showed no signs of stopping. Day 8. Bhima's wrath. On the 8th day, Bhima displayed his terrifying might. With his mace, he shattered the great warriors of the Kaurava army. Dushasana also demonstrated his strength, but Bhima challenged him on the battlefield. Arjuna destroyed many Kaurava chariots with his arrows. Dronacharya sent his son, Ashwatthama, to the front lines. The battle was extremely fierce, yet no major warrior fell. By evening, the battlefield was drenched in blood. Day 9. Jayadratha's pride. On the 9th day, Jayadratha displayed his strength and tried to stop the Pandava army with his bravery. Bhishma encircled the Pandavas with his invincible forces. Arjuna challenged Jayadratha in battle, but Jayadratha showcased the power of his sword. The battle was highly dramatic. Dronacharya, using his strategic brilliance, troubled the Pandavas. By evening, the atmosphere on the battlefield was tense and foreboding. Day 10. Bhishma's invincible power. By the 10th day, the war had reached its peak. Bhishma Pitama displayed his invincible strength, crushing the Pandava army mercilessly. Arjuna tried everything to stop him, but Bhishma was unstoppable, like an unyielding fortress. On this day, Bhima fought fiercely against Dushasana. Dronacharya rained devastating divine weapons upon the Pandava forces. By the end of the day, soldiers on both sides were utterly exhausted. Yudhishthira realized that as long as Bhishma lived, victory would remain impossible. Day 11. The plan to kill Bhishma. On the 11th day, Yudhishthira was deeply concerned. He devised a plan to neutralize Bhishma. He told Krishna and Arjuna that victory was impossible, while Bhishma remained on the battlefield. The plan involved bringing Shikhandi forward, for Bhishma had a known weakness towards Shikhandi. Arjuna placed Shikhandi in his chariot and attacked Bhishma. Bhishma refused to shoot arrows at Shikhandi because Shikhandi was born female in a previous life. Taking advantage of this, Arjuna unleashed a rain of arrows on Bhishma. Blood flowed from Bhishma's body, yet he did not fall. By evening, Bhishma lay on a bed of arrows, blood seeping from beneath him, but he did not die by his own will. As the sun set, the battle was paused. Day 12. Dronacharya takes command. On the 12th day, Bhishma was out of the battle, and Dronacharya became the commander of the Kaurava forces. He began encircling the Pandavas with his strategic brilliance. On this day, Arjuna killed a large number of Kaurava soldiers. Dronacharya tried to capture Yudhishthira, but Arjuna protected him. The battle raged fiercely. Dronacharya sent his son Ashwatthama to the front lines as well. By evening, the number of soldiers on both sides had begun to dwindle. Day 13. Abhimanyu's bravery and sacrifice. The 13th day was one of the most horrific and tragic days in history. Dronacharya formed the deadly Chakravyu formation, nearly impossible to penetrate. Arjuna was trapped on a different front. Young Abhimanyu entered the Chakravyu, demonstrating extraordinary bravery, and began breaking it from within. He fought fiercely, but Jayadratha blocked his exit, preventing Arjuna from helping him. Alone, Abhimanyu brought many of the Kaurava warriors to their knees. However, when he grew exhausted, Lakshmana Kumara, Duryodhana's son, struck him down. Abhimanyu attained martyrdom. On hearing of his son's death, Arjuna was filled with rage and vowed to kill Jayadratha the next day. Day 14. The slaying of Jayadratha. The sun rose fiercely on the 14th day. Arjuna had sworn to avenge the death of his son, Abhimanyu. As the battle began, he rained arrows relentlessly. Jayadratha tried to escape, but Arjuna pursued him. Karna protected Jayadratha, but Arjuna also stopped Karna in battle. Dronacharya attempted to defend Jayadratha as well. The battle was extremely intense. Even as evening approached, Arjuna could not reach Jayadratha. Then Lord Krishna used his divine power to obscure the sun. Jayadratha, thinking the sun had set, challenged Arjuna and removed his armor. Krishna signaled Arjuna, who released his arrow. decapitating Jayadratha. In this way, Arjuna fulfilled his vow. Day 15. The killing of Dronacharya. On the 15th day, Dronacharya was furious. He launched a devastating attack on the Pandava army. Yudhishthira devised a plan to remove Dronacharya from the battle. Dronacharya was deeply concerned for his son, Ashwatthama. Bhishma killed an elephant and announced it as Ashwatthama. When Dronacharya heard that Ashwatthama was dead, his heart broke. He laid down his weapons. Yudhishthira spoke the truth. Since it was the elephant named Ashwatthama, he did not lie. Seizing the opportunity, Drishtadyumna killed Dronacharya. The Kaurava army erupted in chaos at his death. Day 16. Karna becomes commander. On the 16th day, Duryodhana appointed Karna as the commander of the Kaurava forces. Karna displayed extraordinary valor, devastating the Pandava army with his arrows. He defeated Nakula and Sahadeva in battle, but spared their lives. Karna also restrained Bhima on the battlefield. A fierce confrontation erupted between Karna and Arjuna, with their arrows colliding like lightning across the sky. The battle lasted the entire day. Through his bravery, Karna proved that he was a warrior equal to Arjuna. By evening, the Pandava army was under immense pressure. Day 17. The epic confrontation. The 17th day was the most brutal and decisive day of the Mahabharata war. The main battle was between Arjuna and Karna. Both warriors unleashed all their power and divine weapons. Karna fought valiantly, using every skill to stop Arjuna, but Arjuna matched him with his Gandiva and strategic brilliance. The battlefield was filled with a relentless rain of arrows and celestial weapons. Both armies followed their commander's instructions to the letter. Ultimately, Arjuna's skill and strategy triumphed, and Karna was killed, a huge blow to the Kaurava forces. This decisive battle broke the morale of the Kaurava army. The epic duel between Arjuna and Karna made this day one of the most memorable and decisive in the Mahabharata. Day 18. The final battle and Yudhishthira's coronation. The 18th day marked the end of the war. Only a few key warriors remained. Yudhishthira himself took part in the battle. He defeated Shakuni and killed him. Bhima killed 99 brothers of Duryodhana and challenged Duryodhana to fight. A fierce mace battle erupted between Bhima and Duryodhana. Following Krishna's signal, Bhima struck Duryodhana on the thigh, injuring him severely. Duryodhana fell, and the war finally ended. However, Ashwatthama attacked the Pandava camp under the cover of night, killing the Upa-Pandavas and Draupadi's sons. Yudhishthira was left stunned. Eventually, Yudhishthira was crowned king. Gandhari cursed Krishna, but he accepted it calmly. Conclusion. This 18-day war, which claimed millions of lives and saw the sacrifices of great warriors like Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Karna, ultimately ended with the victory of dharma. The battlefield of Kurukshetra continues to teach us that one should never rely on adharma in life. No matter how dire the circumstances, truth and righteousness will always prevail. This was the epic story of the 18 days of the Mahabharata that changed history. Thank you.